So this is a little butt building quick workout. If you happen to have a block, you might want to use a block. That gives you a little bit more range of movement. If you don't have a block, don't worry. You can use a thick book or something that you can stand on that's quite stable and not going to tip you off. And if you don't have anything available, don't worry, you don't need to do that. You can just do it on the floor without. Okay, and we're going to start with our pelvic lift. So we'll do it on the floor without first, and then if you want to, we can add the block. So standing with your feet hip width apart, outside edges of your feet as straight as you can get them. And then we're going to press really firmly down into the heel of one foot and allow the other foot to lift off the floor and then lower back down. So all the work is in this hip. We're pushing down with this leg and this leg just floats up off the floor. And let's do that a few times. You're trying to keep your weight back in your heel to really concentrate the work in this lateral hip and in your glutes as well. See if you can slow it down, really control it. So pressing to lift and really slowly, gently lowering back down. Sometimes if we don't have a lot of strength in these lateral hips, we will use momentum and we'll fling our body around. Let's try the same on the other side. So again, anchoring that foot down, pressing down into that heel to lift the other foot off the floor. Does it feel different? One side to the other often feels a little bit different. See again if you can slow it down. Maybe your balance isn't as good either on one side compared to the other. We're going to do that again on both sides. So if you do have a block or something that you're going to stand on, feel free to grab that now. And like I say, if you don't, you can absolutely just carry on as we were. So if you're on your block, make sure your heel is on it because we want to be pushing down through the heel. And it's the same thing. So we're going to press down through the heel and let the other foot float up away from the floor. So it's giving you that extra range of movement. You're able to lower down and lift that a little bit more. So really working to build those glutes, build the strength in that lateral hip. Should we try that on the other side? Same thing. Keeping that weight back through your heel. Finding those glutes. See if you can do it without having to put your foot down if you're on a block, or even if you're on the floor. See if you can keep that lifting and lowering foot hovering off the floor. And as always, you can go near a wall if your balance isn't brilliant this morning or whenever you're doing this class. All right, come on off there. Give your legs just a little shake out and you can get rid of your block now. Okay, so we're going to have a little play around with some squats and some lunges next. So take your feet about hip width apart. Outside edges of your feet straight, if you can. And we're going to imagine that we're sitting back on a chair. So we're going to reach the arms in front and we're going to stick our bottom out behind to find that squat. And then we're going to push into the heels to come all the way back up to standing. Okay, so again, stick your bottom out like you're going to sit down on a chair. Push into the heels to come back up to standing. So you're really going back rather than letting their body shift forwards, yeah? And it doesn't matter how low you go, really don't mind. Even if it's like a little mini squat and you only do a tiny squat. If you can get your weight back in your heels, you can use those glutes and hamstrings to bring you back up. That's a good squat. If you're a rib thruster, watch that temptation as you squat to arch your back and to flare the ribs. So keep the ribs drawn into your body. 2 more. Push into those heels. Push into those heels. Nice, we're going to step the feet wide now. So let's go into a wide leg squat and turn your feet out this time. Hands wherever you like. I always like to have my hands on my hips. You can have your hands wherever you like. And you're going to squat down and then come back up to standing. So really working those inner thighs this time. Make sure as you squat down that the knees are kind of turning out. We don't want the knees rolling in towards each other. So if anything, you're thinking turn out. Yeah. 2 more like this. And then we're going to come down and we're going to stay down. So decide how low you want to go and pulse. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Halfway up and pulse. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop all the way down and come all the way up. 2 more. All the way down as low as you can and all the way up. The last one. And up. Whew. Step the legs in. Give your legs a little shake for a moment. Let's try a few squats with our legs close together. Now if you can't get your feet all the way touching, don't worry, have them where you can, but have them close together. Same thing with the squats that we did before. We're going to reach the arms forwards, we're going to stick our bottom out and then come back up to standing. So again, stick your bottom out and come back up to standing. So the arms just help with a bit of balance, just help to counterbalance you. Because you're sticking your bum out and kind of going back, often it makes you feel like you might fall. Can you do 2 more like this? One more time. Whew. And then as you come up this time, give those legs a little shake out. Nice. Nice to do some squats and lunges. Nice when they're finished. Lunges. We're going to do some standing lunges. If your balance is a little bit, go near a wall, grab yourself a chair, a coffee table, anything just that you know you've got there if you need it. And we're going to step 1 leg forwards, 1 leg back. Okay, make it small to start with. Let's have a slight tuck of the tailbone, yeah? Because often in a lunge people will tilt the pelvis forward, so let's find that slight tuck now. And can you drop straight down? That back knee is going to bend, it's going to come closer towards the floor, and then we're going to come back up. Again, it can be as big or as small a lunge as feels okay for you. I'm going to do a few. So find that tuck, keep that tuck. And we're just going up and down. Good, so you can do a tiny dip, or you can go all the way down towards the floor, whatever feels good, or not good. Doable, let's go with doable. Can you do 1 more like that? And then as you come up, switch legs. So again, 1 leg forward, 1 leg back. Slight tuck of the tailbone, keep you in a neutral position, and then can you drop down? And come back up. Now when you're lunging, you carry on. This front leg will often want to roll in, so that knee will often want to roll in. So I want you to keep that knee pointing forwards. And if it starts to roll in, I want you to think about slightly turning the thigh so that the knee's not going to roll in. And again, if that means that you want to do a little tiny dip, that's absolutely fine. Couple more. Ooh, wobbly on this side. 1 more time. And as you come up this time, give those legs a shake. Well done. We're going to go down to the floor next. So lie down on the floor with your knees bent and your feet flat. Okay. So we're going to do some hip lifts now, really powering by using our glutes and our hamstrings. Don't have anything under your head for this. And then have your arms down by your sides. Feet are flat, knees are bent and about hip width apart. When you're ready, push into those heels and lift your hips up to the sky. And then fold at the hips and lower your bottom all the way back down. Do that again. Press the hips up and lowering back down. Go at your own pace. Keeping your eyes on the sky. And it doesn't matter how high you lift. I just want you to find this work in those glutes and hamstrings. So really focus on pushing through the heels and try not to keep your weight in the front of your foot. Sometimes it helps if you lift your toes away from the floor, just to try and keep the weight away from those toes. Press up to the top and hold. Give your little pulses here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your bottom all the way down and just pick up those knees. Give those knees a little hug, a nice way to stretch out those glutes as well as to relax your low back. So we're going to stay with that hip lift, but this time we're going to see if we can do it with one leg. So that's really increasing the load to the supporting leg. So find your hip lift position first. Feet down, knees bent, lift the hips up to the sky. And then we're going to bring one foot away from the floor. So you can just hover that foot or you can bring it to tabletop. And we're going to lower down, just tapping your bottom on the floor and then push those hips up to the sky. Lower down to tap and lift. Tap and lift. Doesn't matter how high you go, it's not about getting your hips super high. It's about pressing into those pressing into those heels and binding those glutes. You do 2 more. One more time. And then lowering that leg down. Switching sides. Same thing, tap the bottom and press. Tap the bottom and press. Keep going. Two more. And then we're going to do that little knee hug again. As you lower down this time, lower the leg, bring the knees in, just coming out of it, and have a little moment there. So the hip lift is great for building strength in your glutes. And it's even better if you can do it in that single leg position. We're going to switch it up again. We're going to stay with the single leg version, but this time we're going to see if we can find our number 4 stretch. So bringing your feet down to the floor. Again, feet and knees hip width apart. And then we're going to bring one leg up and cross the ankle over the knee. So finding that number 4 stretch position. And then again, from there, you're going to press into your heel and lift your hips. Lowering down to tap your bottom and then lift. Lower down, tap that bottom and lift. Keep going. If this doesn't feel right to you, you can go back to how your leg was before in tabletop, or you can have both legs down and just do the normal hip lift. It's just finding what feels right for you right now. Can you do 2 more? Good job. And then lower down, uncross. Cross the other way. Again, press into the heel, lift those hips. Tap your bottom and lift. Keep going, keep breathing. Don't stop breathing. Can you do 2 more? One more time. And as you lower your bottom, uncross and bring those knees into your chest. Have a little breathe and have a little moment there. We're going to roll over onto our front next for some hip extension. So when you're ready, make your way onto your front. And you can rest your forehead on your hands. I'm going to keep my head up just so you can hear me. Pubic bone anchored, tailbone slightly tucked to give us some length in that lower back. And then your legs can be hip width apart, or closer or wider, however feels good to you. Reach one leg away. Make that leg as long as you can. Let it lift off the floor and then lower down. Other side, reach the leg long, let it lift and lower. Again, we're trying to work the glutes and the hamstrings. So try not to let your lower back start to do all this work. If your lower back feels like it's shortening, tightening, compressing, then find that tailbone tuck, find that length, and get those glutes working. And if you're not sure, get your hands back there, give them a little poke and see if you can feel, as your leg lifts, that glute working. Sometimes they need a little poke to wake them up and to remind them that they're supposed to be doing some work. Keep switching legs. One more on each side. Last one. And as you lower your bottom down this time, we're going to push ourselves up and back into that child's pose, into that rest position, to stretch out your back and to stretch out those glutes. Hold here for a couple of breaths. into seated. We're going to finish with a hip stretch. So one leg out long, bringing the other leg in towards you and then cross it over to the other side. Sit tall and twist towards that bent knee, and you can use that front arm to scoop that knee into your chest. Now if it's available to you, this front leg, you can bend to bring the heel around towards your bottom, which will give you even more of a stretch. If it's not comfortable, if it's not available, just keep that front leg out long. Both versions are really nice hip stretches. It just depends how much mobility you've got in your knees and your hips right now. We're going to do the same on the other side. So when you're ready, unpretzel your legs and do the other side, bring the leg in. Cross it over to the other side, sit tall, twist towards that bent leg and scoop it in. And again, you can keep that front leg out long, or you can bring the heel around to your bottom and hold there. And then when you're ready, release, coming out of that, release those legs. Lengthen the legs out long, just give them a little roll in and out. And that is you for now. Thank you.